Hi guys, welcome to another C Sharp lecture, part of C Sharp.NET complete course from beginner to advanced. This lecture has the goal to talk about implicitly and explicitly typed variables. This is Joseph Botnar, and let's dive in. In this lesson, you will learn how to declare explicitly typed variables and how to declare implicitly typed variables. Let's do a few examples. Here you go. If you are going to use in your code this statement in the top of your code using static system.console, you don't need to write this class console again in your code. So that's why I use this statement here in the top of this code. I declared two variables. First has the type string using this keyword string, and on the other code line I declared a integer type variable using this keyword int. Declaring the variables in this way, actually you declare explicitly typed variables because you send to the compiler explicitly and clearly the type of these variables. The first, string, using this keyword string, and another one, integer, using this keyword int. I initialized a declaration these two variables, as you can see, but you should know you are not mandatory, it's not a must to initialize a explicitly typed variable at declaration. We don't receive errors, as you can see. I can execute this app. As you can see, no errors. I can execute this app, because you are not bound to initialize the explicitly typed variables at declaration. But you will have two warnings. If you go down here, you can see the warnings displayed by a compiler in error list. So the variables are declared but never used. That means later you have to initialize those variables even they are explicitly typed variables. Otherwise, you will receive errors. This means that the compiler, when you declare explicitly typed variables, can determine at declaration the type of explicitly typed variables. But you should know there is another option to declare variables, and this way to declare explicitly the variables is a bit redundant and sometimes unnecessary. So that's why you can use another option, namely the implicitly typed variables. Using this keyword var. So, using this keyword var, you actually declare implicitly typed variables. You have to initialize the variable, the implicitly typed variable at declaration. Otherwise, the compiler can't determine the type of the implicitly typed variable. Now, we don't have errors. I can execute this app, as you can see. No errors, because the compiler for implicitly typed variable using this keyword var will determine the type based on the value to initialize the implicitly typed variable. In this way, I initialize this variable first name using my first name, Joseph, so the compiler can determine based on this value the type of this first name variable, which will be string, and another one, this variable number, I initialize it with this value, with this integer value 50. That means the compiler will determine the type of this number variable based on this value, based on this integer value. So this variable will have this type integer. Yeah, but if I don't initialize the implicitly typed variable at declaration, I will receive error. And here is the error. Implicitly typed variables must be initialized. So we can't use in this way an implicitly typed variable. When you declare an implicitly typed variable, you have to initialize it. Yeah. Why? Because in this way, the compiler can determine the type of an implicitly typed variable. Yeah. In order to find out the type of implicitly typed variable, you can use the getType method. So let's execute this up. Here you go. As you can see, this variable first name, the type is string, and this variable number, the type is integer, as you can see. So that means, based on the value used to initialize these variables, the compiler determined the type of these variables. So this is the proof, this is the demonstration using this method getType. So again, if you don't initialize the implicitly typed variable, you will receive errors. What is the best to use in your code? The explicitly typed variable or the implicitly typed variables? I would say, this is my own opinion, mostly I'm using the implicitly typed variable because I consider unnecessary to use the explicitly typed variable. I'm using the explicitly typed variable in my code when I want the reader of the code to know explicitly the type of the variable, or when I want to store a result. Doesn't matter where it comes from, the result. So in these two cases, I use the explicitly typed variables. In the rest, I prefer to use the implicitly typed variable. Thank you for watching this lecture, part of C# complete course from beginner to advanced. See you next time. Bye bye.